Come join us on our winter getaway to explore San Diego, California. Renowned for its ideal climate, miles of spectacular coastline, thriving urban core, and a vast array of world-class attractions, we share it all with you. We are Malcolm and Rachel, and welcome to our channel. We share everything about our retirement lifestyle. Hey, we're in the Vancouver airport and we're heading to San Diego.
Sunny San Diego.
There's supposed to be a snowstorm overnight here too, and so we're kind of escaping the snow.
That's right. Every time there's a snowstorm, we're going to go somewhere warm.
Well, hi there.
Hello from San Diego.
San Diego. We just arrived and we're about to go out and explore, and the sun just came out. It's beautiful. We're going to go and check out a couple of beaches and some of the local spots around here.
We'll bring you with us.
Let's go. We stayed in the north part of the city, and our first trip out was to Cardiff State Park. The coastline at Cardiff is renowned for wide open sandy beaches, gorgeous cliffs, and great surfing. The spectacular oceanfront camping site is a favorite spot for locals. You can park anywhere along the roadside. We ventured out onto the sand to get our first experience walking along a San Diego beach, and it didn't disappoint. We're at the beach.
Finally, we made it.
Yeah.
Back on the Pacific water again.
We can see there's some pebbles on the beach. Our beach in BC has a lot of pebbles and a little bit of sand. Actually, there's a lot of sand. Just when the tide is up, it just looks rocky.
Yeah.
But here we can hear the waves coming in, and then the rocks were moving with the water pushing them. Isn't it?
Yeah, it makes like a very interesting noise. And then it pulls all the rocks back out again.
Yeah.
But you should see here on the beach, there's lots of erosion, so obviously the tide comes quite high.
It must, yeah,
But
at times.
we got to watch our feet, make sure we don't get wet.
But it's the same Pacific Ocean.
Same ocean.
Beaches are perhaps the most iconic feature of California. A recent study using satellite data over the past 2 decades suggests up to 70% of beaches could be at risk due to rising sea levels. Also, human development has disrupted the natural processes that supply beaches with sand. Government programs to artificially nourish beaches have slowed down over recent decades. During wintertime, San Diego beaches experience the greatest episodes of shoreline erosion. This is when the region typically gets its largest and most frequent swells. Surfing in the San Diego area can be done all year. It's no secret that with its 70 miles of coastline, inviting Pacific waters, and tantalizing variety of waves, San Diego is one of the best places to surf on the planet. Surfers have their favorite spots, and we saw people on their boards at almost every beach we visited, even in January. Next, we headed a little farther south to Jolla Shores overlooking Black's Beach. We parked at the Torrey Pines glider port. Sadly, erosion to the coastline is evident everywhere you look. We had a chance to get some great views from the cliffs overlooking Black's Beach. Hugged by the bluffs of Torrey Pines and overlooked by the famous Torrey Pines golf course, Black's Beach is another great spot for surfers. There weren't actually any gliders that day, but we found a spot to sit and enjoy the view. We noticed a man waving something around, and we wondered what he was doing. Then we realized he was training his peregrine falcon. Welcome to the Torrey Pine State Natural Reserve. This day-use park includes the beach as well as a large area up on the cliff. We drove up to the top and parked by the lodge, which offers some information about this area, then took a hike out along one of the many trails. It was a gorgeous afternoon, and many other people had the same idea, taking in this amazing view. We're on the top of the world.
Torrey Pine State Park.
I think it's called Razor Point. The hilly seaside village of La Jolla has a prime location along the San Diego coastline. It's about a 20-minute drive north from downtown and offers a coveted haven for those seeking the epitome of wealthy living. At the center of the village are boutiques, restaurants, and hotels. As a former art colony, it still has an array of art galleries. This upscale neighborhood is a favorite destination for many travelers and offers a lovely boardwalk overlooking its curvy coastline. Sea caves are popular with tourists where you'll see kayakers exploring. They have a guide who ensures their safety with the crashing waves and changing tides. Point La Jolla overlooks La Jolla Cove and to the right La Jolla Shores from where we just came. Hundreds of birds, including cormorants, pelicans, and seagulls, take refuge along the cliffs, and you'll occasionally hear sea lions barking. Harbor seals are often basking in the sun, usually on the protected beach by the children's pool. Point Loma is a rugged peninsula known for Cabrillo National Monument, a park with trails, tide pools, and exhibits on California history. There's a $20 entrance fee for 1 week access. We headed first to the upper trails for some hiking and spectacular views, westerly towards the Pacific Ocean and easterly overlooking the harbor and downtown area. You can also see to the south towards Mexico. The Old Point Loma Lighthouse is the highest point in the park and has been a San Diego icon since 1855. The lighthouse was closed in 1891 and a new one opened at a lower elevation because fog and low clouds often obscured the light at its location, 422 feet above sea level. The old lighthouse is now a museum and open to visitors. Shaw's agave is a rare and unique succulent plant native to a 200-mile stretch of the southwestern Californian coast. Like other agave species, Shaw's agave rosettes flower just once and then die. It can take 20 to 50 years for an individual plant to flower. Cabrillo National Monument commemorates the landing of Juan Rodriguez Cabrillo at San Diego Bay on September of 1542. This marked the first time a European expedition had set foot on what later became the west coast of the United States. The Point Loma Naval Base is the largest on the west coast and the principal home port for the powerful Pacific Fleet Surface Navy, which includes more than 150 tenant commands, more than 50 Navy ships, and 13 piers. Naval Base Point Loma is one of the most important Navy bases in the United States. About 22,000 service members and their civilian families live at Naval Base Point Loma, which is located in one of San Diego's oldest and most sought-after neighborhoods, Point Loma. The Cabrillo Park tide pools, also known as the Rocky Intertidal Zone, offer amazing views of the Pacific Ocean and the opportunity to discover native plants and species that live in this unique habitat. It's a short window of opportunity when the tide is at 0.7 or less. Even without seeing the tide pools themselves, this area provides some closer views of the cliffs and over 7 layers of ancient sediment exposed by waves which carve away the rocky shoreline. And while walking these lower trails, we discover a variety of birds. As we saw at other beaches, pelicans, hawks, and osprey get a free ride on the updrafts of air from the crests of waves. Upon entering and exiting the park, we pass thousands of white headstones in beautifully kept grounds. Fort Rosecrans National Cemetery is a federal military cemetery and marks the final resting place of about 100,000 individuals, many of whom gave their lives in service to the United States of America. On January 22nd, 2.7 inches of rain fell on San Diego in 20 hours. The storm runoff overtook the drainage system in low-lying neighborhoods, washing away scores of cars and flooding hundreds of homes and apartments. More than 1,200 people were displaced, and 594 homes were damaged by these floodwaters. The mayor later declared a state of emergency. As instructed by the authorities, we stayed off the road until the storm finished. When the rain finally subsided and we ventured out, the air was thick with moisture and low-lying areas had layers of fog, not to mention the puddles. Our destination was indoors at the nearby Birch Aquarium at Scripps Institution of Oceanography. As part of the University of California, the award-winning Birch Aquarium is part of the Scripps Institution. Goals include educating the public, promoting conservation of species, species rehabilitation due to impacts of climate change, and poaching. They uncover the unique superpowers of aquatic creatures ranging from armor to supersight to electricity and offer inspiration to cinema, medicine, and engineering. The Penguin Lagoon imitates the coast of Australia and New Zealand, where these little penguins live. The exhibit showcases the little blue penguin, otherwise known as the fairy penguin. With the distinctive slate blue coloration and white chin and chest, these little blues are the smallest penguin species at 16 inches tall and weighing only 2 pounds. The handler here is hand feeding them and recording exactly what each penguin eats. They exhibit more than a dozen seahorse species and are a world leader in seahorse propagation, reducing the need for other zoos and aquariums to collect from the wild. Right in the middle of San Diego is a 1,200-acre cultural oasis full of open spaces, beautiful gardens and walking trails, multiple museums and theaters, and even the San Diego Zoo. This is Balboa Park, one of North America's most renowned urban parks, full of history, art, and nature, and a place every visitor must experience on a visit to San Diego. Taking the Coronado Bridge lands you on Coronado Island. This small beach community is surrounded by San Diego Bay and the Pacific Ocean. Like other neighborhoods, it has its own downtown with shopping and services, but we were headed to the historic beachfront Hotel del Coronado. This National Historic Landmark is a rare surviving example of an American architectural genre, the wooden Victorian beach resort. Opened in 1888, at the time it was the largest resort in the world and has hosted presidents, royalty, and celebrities and featured in numerous films and books. Even on this cooler January day, there were guests practicing yoga on the beach and people milling about. No doubt it gets very busy in the summer. The grounds were lovely and the hotel took great care grooming the beach and replacing sand. These lower-level suites looked cozy and even had their own garden space with fire pits. We noticed the larger building was undergoing some renovations, but there was plenty of green space and pools around the property as well as the expansive beach itself. The Gaslamp Quarter may be the vibrant heart of downtown San Diego now, but it had a rough start. Early on, it was overrun with rabbits, and after development started in earnest around 1850, a red light district stingaree emerged full of saloons, brothels, and gambling dens. Later in 1912, the city slowly began cleaning up this area, removing the stingaree. It wasn't until the late 1980s that attempts to clean up the district's image began. The area was renamed the Gaslamp Quarter, a nod to the Victorian era, and faux gas lamps and brick sidewalks were later installed, adding to the historical feel. About 30 miles north of downtown San Diego, near Escondido, is the San Diego Zoo Safari Park. It's an expansive nonprofit wildlife sanctuary that is home to more than 3,000 animals, representing more than 300 species. Over half of the park's 800 acres have been set aside as protected native species habitat. our last night, we moved to a hotel near the inner harbor to be closer to the airport for an early morning departure. It gave us a chance to walk around some marinas and see some charter fishing boats and many pleasure craft. It really is a boat haven. Not only is the U.S. Navy's fleet based here with submarines and aircraft carriers, but there are commercial ships, large yachts, and sailboats with thousands of slips and dozens of marinas. We ate at Mitch's Seafood, and even before the food arrived, had an uninvited guest. Overlooking the harbor, we watched this heron, and then later had a lazy stroll past more boats, enjoying the view as the sun was setting on this January evening. Thanks so much for watching, and we hope you learned a little something about San Diego.